Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over each character's best major performance from January 2022 to recently. This was made by BARNARDS LOOP. Their link will be down below. They make just a lot of very cool Smash stuff in general, so I highly recommend you check them out, but let's get right into it. So let's start at the bottom at these three tiers right here. You have Ganon all by himself in the top 64 at an S/A tier event. Now, I'm not actually 100% sure who this Ganon is. If I had to guess, it would be Major or Higachan. It could be someone else though, because there are a couple Ganon players that are actually still really cracked, but it doesn't matter how good you are with Ganon, you are still playing Ganondorf, so it makes sense that he is down this low. Kind of the same thing as all these characters as well. They are all extremely limited, and while there are good reps of each character, it's really difficult to get some consistent placements with them. Like this one is probably honestly Dimitri at Battle of BC, so shouts to him for that performance because that was unreal. You go here, this could have potentially been Yez, this could have been a lot of Ike players. Honestly, Ike has been one of those characters that I feel like there's actually a couple notable reps that have actually been getting some decent results, so I wouldn't be super shocked if we saw maybe Ike get top 8 at a B tier, C tier sized event, but everyone else, Zelda, Kirby, Piranha Plant, and me, Sword Fighter, as well as Ganon, I imagine this is probably the peak that they're going to get in Smash Ultimate, to be honest. Again, it's not impossible. There are good reps of the characters that could do it, but if I had to see one character moving up to this top 4 at a B tier, I would guess it would be Ike just because his win condition is so incredibly strong with Nair. And there are some matchups that are relevant, like Game Watch, for example. Game Watch is extremely relevant, and Ike destroys Game Watch, so I can maybe see him moving up, but everyone else is probably going to stay down here. Also, a quick correction for Piranha Plant. Dimitri actually ended up getting 33rd at Battle of BC, and it was his 17th place from Lucky that was getting Piranha Plant their placement, so thought I should add that. Next up, we have top 4 at a B tier, and a lot of these characters are just kind of mid and expected to be kind of towards this area. There's a couple of them overachieving, to be honest. I didn't think Lucario would get this high. I didn't think Banjo would get that high. Robin, Villager, Isabelle, Duck Hunt, and Dedede. I'm honestly shocked that all those characters are that high. I think Bowser Jr. being here, 100% makes sense. I think Mii Gunner, 100% makes sense. The two characters that I would expect to go up would be Link and Lucas, just because those are extremely tech-heavy characters, and all it takes is one rep to go in a crazy run. They don't have to become a super meta-relevant character, but all it takes is one guy or one gal to pick up this character and be like, okay, I get it now, because their skill ceiling is ridiculously high. So I could definitely see Lucas and Link going up, though I don't think they'll become super prominent meta threats. Next up, you have top 8 at an A tier, and the characters in here are pretty weird. This is honestly probably the weirdest tier in the entire list, just because half the characters, and by half I mean all of them except Mii Brawler, are kind of mid, and then Mii Brawler is insane and definitely should be a little bit higher. But all these characters, they do have notable reps. You have Base Mage for Jigglypuff, you have Squid Plumber, who actually got the top 8 for Belmont. It wasn't T3 Dom or Noxombra, so shouts to Squid Plumber for that. For K-Rool, I imagine it's Kirby Kid, but it could be Huto as well, using the character as a tertiary, or another one that I'm just completely forgetting about. Ball is cracked as well. For Toon Link, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sigma, though level 1 is really good, Aang's really good, Jojo the Hope is really good, but I think it is Sigma. For Wii Fit, I honestly have no clue. If I had to guess, it would be Injelly, but Varun definitely could have snuck into a top 8 that I forgot about. Then for Mii Brawler, this character should be higher. Like, Mii Brawler is ridiculously broken. He is definitely going to continue increasing. I'd be pretty shocked if any of these characters moved up a little higher. Like, I think it's not impossible. You know, Base Mage could go on a crazy run. Marth could come back for MK Leo or Rizzy also, which is probably where Marth got his top 8 as well, by the way. So it's going to be interesting to see how these characters fare later on to the meta, but if I had to put my money on one, I would definitely put it on Mii Brawler continuing to get better. Also, quick correction, it was actually Varun who was able to get 7th at Crown 2 for the Wii Fit top 8, so I thought I should add that. Next up, you have top 8 at an S tier. For Ken, you're going to have Takara's run at Delta 4. For Pikachu, it's going to be Shining Mark's run at Collision. For Falcon, it's going to be both Karage and Jogbu having multiple top 8s. For Mewtwo, I think it's Wadi at Smash Factor, and for Leah, it's going to be his run at Kagura V7, I believe. And then I got to Chrom, and this one stumped me for a really long time. I'm pretty sure I figured it out, though. I think it's Mr. R's top 8 at Colossal, where he got 7th place. I don't know if he was using full Chrom at that time, but it was back in the period where he definitely would have had Chrom as a character on his roster, so he definitely could have top 8 at that tournament with Chrom, and if I had to guess, that's where it would be from. So even if it was with a secondary, you know, maybe a little bit of Sheik in there, maybe a little bit of Aegis. I don't know if he was even playing Aegis at the time, but it is probably a combination of Sheik and Chrom getting him that top 8 at Colossal, or it could just be a completely different person. Let me know down below if that is wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's why Chrom is up here, and honestly, he's a little bit too high. Mewtwo's way too high. I think Falcon's a little too high. Pikachu's a little bit too low. I think this is pretty much a perfect placement for both Ken and Greninja. So overall, S tier, it's not too confusing, but I did a double take when I saw Chrom up here. Next up, we have top 4 at an A tier event. There's a couple characters in here that are weird. Really, really weird. Most notably, Dr. Mario. What is he doing up here? Who let this happen? I mean, I know who let it happen. It was Sumo Suto's run, I believe, Maisuma. I'm not sure which one, but I remember it being incredible. I'm also pretty sure that's where Inkling gets their placement from Shiryuki's run there, so two birds with one stone. Then you look over on this side, you have Donkey Kong, which is also insane, but this is, I'm like 90% sure, from one of Hikaru's runs because he's kind of the only one getting this far in bracket with DK. Though I do think that will change because one, Chunky Kong is crazy. Two, I think DK is a really good secondary. And three, technically, Donkey Kong got second place at one of the biggest tournaments he's ever had in Battle of BC, so technically he should be moved up, but in actuality, this is still an insane placement for DK. You have Luigi as well, who seems a little bit high, but then you think about Luigi, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Same thing with Pichu as well. I feel like Pichu is a character that's been recently getting phased out, but towards 2022 era, they were still doing a little bit better, though I definitely think that result is from 2023, or rather from 2022, because their kind of main rep in Diatono has not dropped the character entirely, but they're shifting more of their focus to Diddy Kong, so you're going to start seeing a lot less Pichu placements, though there are still Pichu players that exist. Nate or you, for example, is an up-and-comer that could definitely reach these tournament placements as well, but Pichu's a character that we might see them peak at least for a little bit, and honestly, the rest of this tier makes a lot of sense. Meta Knight may be a little bit high, but we have a lot of very good Meta Knight reps that can get up there. With Leo now added to the list, he'll probably go a bit higher. Sheik, perfect for Sheik. Bowser, you have Hiro, so that makes sense. Mega Man, perfect. PT, I think PT should be higher, but from how much they're playing the meta, it makes a lot of sense. Kind of the same thing as Shulk and Young Link as well. Hero, you have Akka. Zero Suit, there's a couple people that could do this. My guess it would be probably Mars, though. Then you have the final character that I think could potentially move up, and I think will move up, and that's going to be Roy. Now, I just think Roy is the best character in this tier. I think maybe PT is a little bit better than Roy, but I think Roy could definitely move up here. I just think the top Roy reps haven't been doing as well as they were doing in like the 2021 era, so I think Roy's a character that can move up. Everyone else makes a lot of sense this year. Sheik makes a lot of sense. Falco maybe a little bit high, but honestly, I can see it because there's a bunch of cracked Falco reps. If I had to guess who that was, it'd either be Masa or Tilde, though Matsunabe has also been having some cracked results as of late as well. So all of these characters, they have a bunch of reps. The only big red herrings are, again, this Dr. Mario is insane, this Donkey Kong a little bit less insane, and the only characters that I would be a little bit surprised aren't moved up would be, again, Roy, PT, maybe Shulk, but it's not a super drastic amount that I'm actually blown back by it. Now we have top 4 at an S tier, the big leagues, and we're going to go through really quickly all the reps that have gotten these people here. There's a couple reps for certain characters, but I'm just going to say the first one that comes to mind. You have Zomba, you have Jackal, you have Shuton, you have Akola, you have Leo, you have Mutes, you have Light, you have Sonics, you have Spargo, you have Zack Ray, you have DeBuzz, you have Kameme, you have Tweak, you have Yoshidora, you have T, you have Osimo, you have both Meister and Mia, though likely Mia for this time period. You have Tweak or Ken again. You have Incineroar being Skyjam, I mean, pretty obviously. You have Riddles and T, potentially you have Riddles for this one for sure. For Ness, it's actually going to be Gak because he had a couple amazing runs, so shouts to Gak for that. For Wario, it's going to be Glutzni. Byleth could honestly be anyone. This is the only one I'm kind of unsure about. For Corrin, this is going to be MK Leo, of course, his iconic character Corrin. This one is going to be Bloom Forever, or it could also be potentially Lima, though I definitely know it is Bloom, so I won't say for sure about Lima because I think he got 5th at Collision instead of 4th. If he didn't, I'll leave an editor's note right here. Palutena is actually going to be Chag's run at Colossal. Min Min and Lucina are going to be both from Proto Bonham. Samus is going to be from Yara. Mario is going to be Karama. Ice Climber's Big D. And then Snake is going to be Dio or Apollo Kage. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dio, though, because I don't think Apollo Kage has hit these heights yet. Like, again, the most big emphasis you can put on yet, because Apollo Kage is definitely going to get there. And the only characters that would be a little bit surprised being this high, I think Ness is maybe a little bit high, but Ness isn't a bad character by any means. The only, like, actually bad character that's up here is going to be Rosalina and Pit. Those are both, like, mid-tier characters, but you have DeBuzz playing one of them and Zachary playing the other one, so it makes a little bit of sense. And the rest of these are kind of just your typical top tiers. Like, there's not a ton to add here. It's like, oh yeah, Aegis has top 4 at an S tier. Steve has top 4 at an S tier. Like, all these characters are belonging up here because they are ridiculously broken. Okay, also maybe Corrin is a little bit high, but then you have the excuse of Leo is playing Corrin, so we're not even going to worry about it. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I think we got most of the characters down in this video about the rep that got them into their placement. But if I mislabeled someone or just forgot to mention a character, please let me know down below. Be sure to go over it in the comments. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, this was all made by Bernard's Loop. Highly recommend you check them out on Twitter. Their link will be down below because they just make a lot of cool stuff. And that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for everything. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.